Hello guys, it's me BendyAttack 124, and today I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna start reading you guys the silver one, the Nights At Freddy's book series, starting off with the silver ones. Something different, but let's do this. Chapter 1. He sees me. Charlie dropped to her hands and knees. She wedged behind a row of arcade games, cramped in the crawl space between the consoles and the wall. Tangled electrical cords and useless plugs strewn beneath her. She was cornered. The only way out was past the thing. She wasn't fast enough to make it. She could see him stalking back and forth, catching flickers of movement through the gaps between the games. There was scarcely enough room to move, but she tried to crawl backward. Her foot caught on a cord. She stopped, contorting herself carefully to dislodge it. She heard the clash of metal on metal. In the farthest console rocked back against the wall. He hit it again, shattering the display, then attacked the next, crashing them almost rhythmically. Tearing through the machinery, coming closer. I have to get out. I have to. The panic thought was of no help. There was no way out. Her arm ached. She wanted to sob aloud. Blood soaked to the tattered band-aid, and it seemed as though she could feel it draining out of her. And the console a few feet away and crashed against the wall. And Charlie flinched. He was getting closer. She could hear the grinding of gears and the clicking of servos, even louder. Eyes closed. She could see the way he looked at her. See the matted fur and the exposed metal beneath the synthetic flesh. Suddenly, the console in front of her was wrenched away. It toppled over, thrown down like a toy. The power cords beneath her hands and knees were yanked, and Charlie slipped, almost falling. She caught herself and looked up just in time to see the downward swing of a hook. Welcome to Hurricane Utah. Charlie smiled wearily at the sign and kept driving. The word didn't look any different from one side of the sign to the other, when she felt a nervous anticipation as she passed it. She didn't recognize anything. Then again, she hadn't really expected to. Not this far at the edge of town, where it was all highway and empty space. She wondered what the others would look like, who they were now. 10 years ago, they'd been best friends, and then it happened, and everything ended. At least for Charlie. She hadn't seen any of them since she was 7 years old. They had ridden all the time as kids, especially Marla, who rode like she talked, fast and coherent. But as they got older and they'd grown apart. The letters grown fewer and further between, and the conversations leading up to the trip had been perfunctorily and full of awkward pauses. Charlie kept repeating their names as though to reassure herself that she still remembered them. Marla, Jessica, Lamar, Carlton, John, and Michael. Michael was the reason for the trip. After all, it was 7 years since he died, 7 years since it happened, and now his parents wanted them all together for the dedication ceremony. They wanted all his old friends there when they announced the scholarship that they credited his name. Charlie knew it was a good thing to do, but the gathering still felt slightly macabre. She shivered and turned down the air conditioning, even though she knew it was not the cold. As she drove into the town center, Charlie began to recognize a few things. A few stores and the movie theater, which was now advertising the summer's blockbuster hit. She felt a brief moment of surprise, and then smiled at herself. What did you expect? The whole place would be unchanged? A, mom, a monument to the moment of your departure, frozen forever in July 1985? Well, that was exactly what she had expected. She looked up at her watch. Still a few hours to kill before they all met up. She thought about going to the movie, but she knew what she really wanted to do. Charlie made a left turn and headed out of town. 10 minutes later, she pulled to a stop and got out. The house loomed up before her, its dark outline a wound in the bright blue sky. Charlie leaned back against the car, slightly dizzy. She took a moment to steady herself with deep breaths. She had known it would be here. An intellect lugged through her aunt's bank books a few years before. She had told her that the mortgage would pay off and that Aunt Jen would still be paying property taxes. It had only been 10 years. And there was no reason it should have changed at all. Charlie climbed the steps slowly, taking the peeling pain. The third stair still had a loose board, and the rose bushes had taken over one side of the porch, their thorns biting hungrily into the wood. The door was locked, and Charlie still had the key. She never actually used it. And she took it from around her neck and slid it into the lock. She remembered her father putting its chain around her neck, in case you ever needed. Well, she needed it now. The door opened easily, and Charlie looked around. She didn't remember much about the first couple of years here. She only had been 3 years old, and all the memories faded together in the blur of a child's grief and loss. Of not understanding why her mother had to go away, clinging to her father every moment, not trusting the world around her unless he was there, she was holding tightly to him, burying herself in his flannel shirts and the smell of grease and hot metal in him. The stairs stretched straight up in front of her, but she did not move directly to them. Instead, she went to the living room, where all the furniture was still in place. She had not really noticed it as a child, but the house was a little larger from the furniture they had. Things were spread out too widely in order to fill the place. The coffee table was too far from the couch to read. The easy chair too far across from the room to carry on a conversation. There was a dark stain in the wooden floorboards near the center of the room. Charlie stepped out round it, quickly went to the kitchen, where the cupboards held only a few pots, pans, and dishes. Charlie had never felt a lack of anything as a child, but now it seemed that the unnecessary enormity of the house was sort of an apology. The attempt of a man who had lost so much to give his daughter what he could. He'd always had a way of overdoing whatever he did. The last time he was there at the house had been dark and everything felt wrong. She was carried up the stairs to her bedroom, although she was 7 years old and could have gone quicker. But Aunt Jan had stopped on the front porch, picked her up, and carried her, shielding her faces as though she were a baby in the glaring sun. In her room, Aunt Jen set Charlie down and closed the bedroom door behind them. She told her all the things. She told her to pack her things in the suitcase. Well, guys, that was me reading at least the first part of the first chapter of this book. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. In part 2 of this chapter, BendyAttack 124, out.